everyone, and welcome to my studio. I'm Nicole, and this is the first video for my So Unconventional Challenge series. So the So Unconventional Challenge is a very fun and exciting challenge hosted by Tabitha Sewer of Sewing Bloggers and Lynn Wardrobe Sews. So I'm very excited about this. If you watch Project Runway, you will be familiar with the Unconventional Challenge that they have at least one of every season, which is where they have to make a garment out of unconventional materials. What does that mean? It means not fabric. So Tabitha Sewer and Lynn Wardrobe Sews decided to host for the month of January a challenge on Instagram where we all, whoever wants to participate, will make a garment out of unconventional materials. There are prizes, there is a schedule, there is a hashtag so unconventional, so be sure to check it out. I am super pumped about this challenge because I love the idea of doing something at the beginning of the year that is a little bit different to get your creative juices flowing, to get the inspiration flowing. I feel like anytime I work on something different that's not sewing, it always gets like my brain moving in a different way because it's not so habitual, especially if you sew a lot or have been sewing a lot. A lot of it is just kind of like can become so routine and what's the word I'm looking for? Like just repetitive. You're just doing a repetitive motion and you aren't even really thinking about what you're doing. So while you are doing something with your hands and you're being creative, you're not necessarily challenging that part of your brain. So I love the idea of a project like this for the beginning of the year. And personally, I felt like I've been in a little bit of a slump lately, so I am just so jazzed about this. I feel like it is going to just get those juices flowing in the same way that my zero waste project got me all excited last year, if you've followed that on my Instagram stories at all. So what am I doing for the So Unconventional Challenge? I was debating on what I had to use. I had some goals with this challenge. I did not want to create waste by doing this challenge, and I did not want to spend any money on my unconventional materials. I wanted to use something that was already readily available to me. The first thing that came to mind is cardboard. Many of you may know that my day job, my husband and I own a restaurant in the small town that we live in. It's a barbecue restaurant. So we get a lot of deliveries and stuff. So I have so much cardboard. I thought about that and I was like, cardboard is really stiff. And I may still use some cardboard in some other ways, which I don't want to discuss at this moment yet. But I decided against cardboard when I noticed how full my office recycle bin was, and that consists mostly of junk mail. So when I'm talking junk mail, I'm talking like these stupid things that we get from the local grocery store that I don't use. Netflix envelopes, random magazines, stuff like that I don't even know why we get these things in the mail, but we get them and they're everywhere. So junk mail, perfect. I got lots of it. So that is my chosen material. A lot easier to work with than cardboard, I think. And my inspiration for this project, I think I want to do a Chelsea party dress bodice and I want to do some fun kind of layered pleating on the skirt. And then if I have time, I think I might make some accessories. So that will depend on the time. So that is my inspiration, and I want to show you guys, I'm I'm going to start working on the bodice today. So I want to show you guys how I've started the process and how I'm getting going. So let me change camera views so I can show you what's going on here. Okay, so here I am. This is the mess I made yesterday. I hope you can see me. What I did was I pulled out my recycle bin and I started sorting things into color families. And I realized something. I had a lot of what was in there was envelopes, which I was like, well, I can't really use envelopes. They're small, they're double layered, they're thick, whatever. But then I was looking through the little window and I saw this cute design. And I realized a lot of them are those like security envelopes that have these cute like patterned geometric insides. So I started pulling them all apart, and I think I might use these to do the bodice. The Chelsea party dress is like consists of small pieces, so I think I will be able to use those to do at least the front. I have something else I might do for the back straps, but I don't know, I might have enough here. I'll have to piece some of it together. Some of them are blue, so they're all like blue and black. And I think they're pretty cool. So I'm going to use those, I think, for the bodice. And then for the skirt, I don't know if I'll have enough of these to do the band around the waistband. So I did have a significant amount of like bluish papers that I think I might use for the waistband pieces. So I want this to be recyclable when I'm done. So I'm really debating how I'm going to put it together. I think if I use cotton thread, I think it will still be okay. So I have some cotton thread, but also a lot of these like magazine-y pages are just not very sturdy, and I worry about like a part like the waistband where it's kind of like stressed. I don't want to poke holes in it and then it's going to be even less sturdy. So I might just use tape, honestly. You can recycle things with tape. They get filtered out in the recycling process once the paper breaks down. So that I think I might have to do for that. Also, with the curves on the bodice of the Chelsea dress, I'll have to get creative there. I have a good stack of reds as well, but I think I might save this for accessories. Everything else is like whites and blacks. I feel like I'll get the best use out of these grocery newsprint things for the skirt, although I don't love the way they look. These are nice big pieces, and I don't want to paint anything because I feel like that will inhibit the recyclability of it. But I do have some navy blue ink that I know that ink is obviously recycle friendly because everything we recycle is printed with ink. So I was going to water down some ink and put it in a spray bottle and maybe try to dye this paper a different color. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And I might throw in like 1 or 2 red pieces for some statement, or maybe this yellowy one. in the skirt. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be a create as we go situation. Oh, also, I realized that my shredder container is full. And this is just so much fun. Look at all of that. So I definitely want to incorporate this into my garment. I was thinking some really fun, if I start it from like here on the shoulders and go all the way down my back straps, and it's kind of like ruffles almost. It's not like ruffles at all. Fringe maybe? I don't know. Just I thought it could add some interesting texture to the garment. I wish the pieces weren't so teeny tiny. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But I definitely, I mean, I have a lot of it, so I want to do something with it. I think it could be really cool. I'll also probably use this as part of the accessories as well. So that's where I am right now. I'm going to get started on the bodice, and I'll check in with you in a second. Okay, so I'm working on the bodice. I got all of my pieces cut out of the security envelopes, and I was able to get enough for the waistband as well, which is very exciting. I just wanted to show y'all, because it's a little tricky with this curved seam and paper. So, because it doesn't quite manipulate the same way as fabric does. So what I've done is I drew in my seam allowance, and I'm just going to, on both pieces, clip notches into the seam allowance up to the seam line on the side piece and this front piece here, so that the paper can go around a curve better. So I am just taping, like I said. I feel like that'll be a little more secure. And I'm doing the outwardly curved piece over the concave curved piece. I'm going to line up the seam line, and looking underneath, I can see that the seam line, when placed like this, stays lined up to about here. So I'm going to tape that down, and I like that this tape is like pretty clear. So now I need to tape around this curve. So what I'm going to do is line up on this end where the seam lines meet, and just kind of, this somehow ended up a little bit longer than it's supposed to be, so I'm going to let it hang out a little bit like that. I want to lift up underneath to make sure that my seam lines are actually matched up, and I'm going to just tape this bottom piece in place. And then I'm going to go over to the dress form, and just so I have a curve to work with, I'm going to pin this in place, and holding these out, I'm just going to tape along. I want smaller pieces of tape. Tape along the curve, and these will kind of overlap. I really have no idea how good this will look when I'm done. My goal is that it looks like a cool dress that's not necessarily made out of paper. So the rest of these pieces are all straight seams. So I'm just going to tape those together like normal, and that might be where I stop for today. I might start trying to color the newsprint. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I got the bodice completed. I feel pretty good about my progress. There's a little more rippling here than I would like, which I don't really know if I can do anything about because it's already all taped together, and if I try to pull it apart, it's going to be a big hot mess. So I'm just going to leave it and not stress about it because this is for fun. I'm not actually going to wear this paper dress anywhere. I don't think. So I got the back all done. This dress form is a little bit bigger than I am on top, so she's not gonna close all the way, but I'm feeling really good about how it looks. So my thoughts for the paper shredding is to draw myself a little outline up here, and I'd like to do some like statement shoulders that, oh God, I'm getting stuff all over my floor, that sort of taper down on the back strap like so. So that's going to make a big mess, but I think it could be really fun, and I don't know if I'm going to get to that this week. I would like to, just for time purposes, but I have to stop where I am today to go make dinner. So that's where I am, and I'll check back in with you guys next week for part 2, where I start constructing the skirt and maybe doing the stuff on top. Bye! You maybe, if you watch Project Runway, if you why is that so hard to say?